This is a tag team bout set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first, the team of the Librarian Peter Avalon and Brandon CUTLER.
And CUTLER and Avalon still seeking their first victory here. And Avalon! Avalon grabbed that D20 and
the polyalic die.
Polyhedral die.
That too.
And he very nearly chucked it into the river here in Jacksonville.
He's got a hell of a arm. He's got to be like Minshew.
Wow.
Yeah, I got you.
Wow. Taz knows who his checks are signed by.
You're damn right. Know where that bread is buttered, son. You know.
And their opponents from Southern California at a combined weight of 425 pounds, the fallen angel Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, SCU.
This combination of Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian for longtime fans is the most familiar combination of SCU. However, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, who made that late fill-in for Christopher Daniels, they were the first ever AEW World Tag Team Champions, Taz. So getting back to old school here for SCU.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, hey, look, in my career, I've had the opportunity to call on many of Frankie Kazarian and Chris Daniels matches as singles and as a tag team. So they're tremendous competitors. They're true pros. I've never really liked Daniels much. Kazarian I like a little more. Between you and me.
Oh, you have a live microphone in front of you, so it's not just between us.
Good point.
Referee Paul Turner drawing the duties for this matchup. And Peter Avalon and Frankie Kazarian will start off. We saw last week on...
Wow, look at that. Avalon going
getting right in the face of Christopher Daniels.
I like the attitude, Avalon. He's definitely got it. Whoop, he should turn it back that quick. Pushed him on his arse.
I looked up to you, man.
A nice arm trick by Frankie.
Taking over a second time there by Frankie Kazarian. And last week on Dark, we did see the team of Avalon and CUTLER try to take out Jurassic Express, but once again, they were unsuccessful.
Yeah. Well, beautiful arm drag by Avalon, and turns the favor.
Kazarian answers. But Kazarian put on the brakes, rolls up Avalon, pinning predicament, only a 2 count.
Stacked them up high. Look, you were talking about Avalon and CUTLER. Oh man, I'll tell you what, Peter is in a lot of trouble here.
He's getting ping-ponged back and forth by SCU.
But speaking on the Librarian Avalon and on CUTLER, I mean, both are 0-15. Avalon's 0-9, CUTLER's 0-10 in 2020. They're basically sucking really bad. So they got to get their act together.
It's been a race to the bottom. That's what we've been affectionately calling their hunt for their first victory here in AEW. And another man that we saw in action on Dark last week, Christopher Daniels, he really ratcheted up the aggression against Sonny Kiss.
Yeah, no, he did. And listen, that's the thing. When you're facing an athlete like Sonny Kiss, unorthodox style, you have to do that if Daniels, and he's smart to do that now. Good position for Daniels, being a little bit shorter than CUTLER, to get that arm and kind of jack it up a little bit, while his own shoulder, Daniels, under the armpit of CUTLER.
CUTLER flips through, reversing, takes the wrist of Daniels, and really keeping that wrist close to his chest.
When you get that 2-on-1 position, nice little ankle pick, or single leg, I should say, by Daniels. Look at this now. I'm sorry.
Waist lock.
Roll, I should say.
Nope. Yeah. CUTLER able to avoid it and springboards in that high right elbow strike. He covers one. Very urgent cover, but Daniels able to kick out at 1.
Let's see what CUTLER. I feel like CUTLER. Oh, nice. Good job by Daniels. I think CUTLER. Really, if he kind of. I know it didn't work out individually. It hasn't worked out well for CUTLER and the Librarian separately. But I do think CUTLER's got a huge upside as a singles competitor if he just focused a little bit. Right now, they're just both rivals getting destroyed here.
SCU taking full advantage of that 10 count to exit the ring, and they decimated Avalon and CUTLER there.
Kazarian now.
Gut wrench takes him over the top.
Good arch, good pop of the hips. Up in there on that pin, though. That's a good way. Listen, old school gut wrench suplex. Always a good way to wear down your opponent. Kazarian knows that.
Yeah, Kazarian broke into the business under the tutelage of the great Killer Kowalski. Fundamentals are in his DNA. Covered there by Daniels.
Wrestled a lot of guys in my career that trained under Kowalski from up there in the Boston region. You know, none of those guys ever really beat me, but some of them pretty good, just so you know. All right?
Thanks for that, Taz.
Got it. Put myself over for a second.
Avalon went for the cheap shot. Daniels is able to avoid it, but there, Avalon a little more successful the second time. Cutler is morally opposed to this type of tag team wrestling. Avalon likes to cut corners. Cutler likes to keep things clean.
Dropkick.
But right now you see Avalon having great success. 1, 2.
I mean, Avalon is a librarian. That's what they do. The male librarians cut corners. That's well documented. You see the back of Leva's head and ear. Okay, the female librarians, they don't cut corners. See? It's very prim and proper and blue.
Come to AEW Dark for the great wrestling action. Stay for the sweeping generalizations by Taz.
Right, and the YouTube comments where I get buried for putting myself over.
They just bury you regardless. Chops there by Daniels, backing Cutler into the ropes.
Some will put me over.
Switch there by Cutler. Boot to the midsection. Went for the roundoff. Caught him the second time with the jumping enziguri. Avalon
Look at the spring. Nice.
off the bottom rope, or excuse me, Cutler shocks the world. 1, 2. No, he does not.
Man, I mean, bottom rope city right there. You don't see that much from a guy the size of Cutler.
Leva trying to recommend some reading options there.
We don't need to get DQ.
And Avalon diving. Well, the referee's attention was diverted. I think Cutler's attention was diverted as well. Paul Turner losing control of this matchup.
Brandon, get him! Come on, Brandon!
I mean, Avalon is such a sketchy dude. His face is sketchy. Oh, look at this.
1, 2.
That would have been a huge win and a big upset for this team.
Anybody with a mustache like that, you have to think twice about trusting.
No, I agree. You just can't even be around dudes like that. It's bad.
Tag out. Avalon comes in, and Christopher Daniels is very uncharacteristic position.
Well, this is
Avalon, they can't get on the same page. No pun intended.
Just hit him. Oh, I thought Avalon was going to drop.
Now, double Irish whip there. Waist lock. Oh, no!
It had something in mind, but it didn't work. Maybe Avalon was going to go for a German, but definitely did not work. Look, Kazarian now has that opening.
Right hands, right elbows, right clothesline. Cross chop there by Kazarian. Coming in like a house on fire. And a big flying strike levels Cutler. Knee lift and lariat combination.
Beautiful, beautiful job by Kazarian. Quick duck of Cutler.
Yeah,
leg
Cutler
drop back of the head.
Hung himself out to dry. Kazarian caught him with that leg drop. And now Avalon sent for a ride. Look at the far leg. 1, 2, no!
Tell you, putting big fight up. Avalon and Cutler putting up big fight against a legitimate team in Daniels and Kaz, so it's pretty impressive.
And you can see Daniels still down in the opposite corner. He took a prodigious beating at the hands of Avalon and Cutler.
Prodigious. Well done.
And now Avalon lays out Frankie Kazarian and Brandon Cutler.
Springboard elbow. Wow. Got big height.
Springboard 1, 2, no! Kazarian able to kick out.
Great job by Cutler. Love his style, man. When he's clicking, he clicks. I'll tell you that, Cutler, man, he can go.
Kazarian hit that kick from his back. He took down Cutler, and it created a window of opportunity for him.
Full Nelson here on Avalon by Kazarian, which Daniels got in mind.
Daniels had Avalon held out to dry, and now Avalon brought in the hard way with the cutter by Kazarian.
You see Daniels telling Kaz to do this, do that. Let's see what he's got in mind. Ooh, nice save by Cutler.
Great save by Cutler. The only thing I think that kept his team in this matchup. Cutler landing some hard right hands of his own on both members of SCU. The hip toss into the catch. Oh, they dropped him down. The powerbomb neckbreaker combination.
Ooh, look at that.
Avalon take advantage. 1, 2, no.
And that was close. Look at Avalon getting some sound out of a chop while Dana's wearing a shirt.
Oh, big boot by Frankie Kazarian. They've got him set up. The celebrity rehab by SCU. 1, 2, 3. That is it.
No winner for this match, SCU.
You know, real difficult for the librarian Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler to topple a team like Kazarian and Daniels with such cohesiveness and you know, being veterans and stuff. Let's take a look at some of the action here, Excalibur.
This was the end of the night for Peter Avalon there. That celebrity rehab, excuse me. As SCU pulling out a classic here, scoring an emphatic victory over the team of Avalon and Cutler here tonight on AEW Dark.
A good outing, though, in my opinion, by Avalon and Cutler. Not a loss, but good outing.